Conference, where's he at?
Judge training in Lubbock.
Oh.
Spring Judicial.
Okay.
All right, everyone, it is Friday, March the 11th, 2022 at 9:30 a.m. I will call this work session in the order. We will look over things on the agenda. There will be no action taking on these items. And first up is the auditor.
I don't have anything on this agenda, but I do on
I
that.
know you
so
got a
I'll
bunch
let-
of them. Treasurer.
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Okay. Next up on the agenda is the county judges thing. The first item on there, we have decided, the Texas Recycling Solutions, we're gonna table that for now until a later date. Next up is the Edmondson Fire Department run and financial report for 2021. On the Edmondson Volunteer Fire Department run, they had 10 grass fires, 1 structure fire, 2 burner fires, and
Pit.
I couldn't tell what that, 1 pit fire. Insurance, I gotta find it. I have it here. I don't remember it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's just,
The insurance was $2,100, and the repairs were $5,827 for their financial report for 2021. Next up is the Petersburg EMS run and financial report for January of 2022. They had a total revenue of $8,632. They had total expense of $5,449.83 for a difference of $3,182.17.
Are those reported monthly?
yes.
Yes.
It's a little bit late.
And on their run report, go with this, they had 9 runs within the city limits for total billable runs of 9. Next, up on the, we have Andy Hart, which is not Andy Hart.
Andy's at the stock show, he's at Houston Austin Stock Show. But, our copy machine is up for a new renewal of a contract, and I was coming to see if we could, if the judge could sign a 16-month new lease. The cost of that is $379.79 per month. This includes the maintenance agreement for a new sharp color copier from Hale and Officeworks. And it's the exact same price that we are currently paying right now.
Okay.
So there's not an increase in cost or anything like that for a new 5-year agreement.
Okay. Will Andy or you be here?
I am actually gonna be off next week and Andy will be off too.
Okay, so, well, we can take it and let the judge.
I have that, and then, I don't actually have the agreement, this is just to get the order started, and then once this is signed, we will get the machine and get the agreement in.
They'll take action on Monday
Okay.
on it, and we'll get that, and I'll hang on to it for you and get it to you
Okay.
on Tuesday.
Okay, sounds good, that
We'll
works.
do it.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna put that there so it does not get lost. All right, that concludes our work session, what was on for Friday.
No,
Jeffrey
no.
Oh, Jeffrey Snyder, I forgot. Maybe that could have been a good thing, Jeff.
Could have been. It'd be like, Harold, who's this? Thanks, sir. I think I got 6.
Sorry about that, you know.
No, you're right. Comes with being that role of city manager, right? Yeah.
Jeff, did you sign in?
I don't think I did,
Okay,
but
if you can, please.
I'm not quite as a seasoned professional as you are at running these things yet, Jeffrey.
I wouldn't take it that far. Good morning. Thanks for letting me visit with you this morning. Right now, we are in a public comment phase on our ARPA projects, and today we're asking the county to consider some participation in two of the projects that I think directly benefit both the city and the county. And as you look through the slides, we'll go to that first one. The city's going to receive about $5 million in ARPA funding. And just like the county, we all been waiting on that final rule interpretation to see what was going to happen, if they were going to broaden up the definitions, specifically related to public sector revenue loss. And so with the final rule that came out on January 6th, if you go to that next slide, we're opting to use replacing lost public sector revenue, so we can take that standard allowance of $10 million, not to exceed the initial award to fund government services. That means that basically it gave us more discretion on the use of those funds, as you are familiar with, but it opened up streets, parks, some of the projects that we knew weren't initially going to be eligible. And so as we look at the projects that we were considering here, this really is a one-time opportunity. We don't usually have $5 million that shows up, or just like the county with the over $6 million that the county's receiving. And so we're looking at projects that we believe are impactful, something that's going to have some level of return, benefits the community directly and through the years. And so we're also looking at leveraging partnerships. A lot of the things that we've done in the city through the years has been in partnership either with the county or our nonprofits or our foundations in the community, and a lot of Plainview's success through the years has been because of strong partnerships that we've had. And then we've been looking at projects that are diverse and equitable. So I'm going to talk to you about just two projects today. First one, I believe, is going to be the health department. As you know, it's the Plainview Hale County Health Department, and we've basically split the cost to operate our health department, and we receive some state and federal funding for it. We're looking to relocate it from 10th Street over to the new City Hall building. This was a priority in our comprehensive planning process, where it was continuing to consolidate our footprint and not have all these different buildings and sending the community to different buildings across town. And so we believe this is just one more step forward of moving, consolidating our footprint, having one less building that we're maintaining. And so this project would actually relocate it to the 202 West 5th Street. The estimated cost is $450,000. And so we're asking the county to consider splitting that, since that's typically what we've done from an operational standpoint. This would include, a waiting room, reception area. A lot of it's plumbing and HVAC, that the cost that you're incurring trying to get it over there, and with the continued price increases that we're seeing, the number continues to go higher. But this 450, we believe, is a pretty good number to capture everything that we're doing. We're still in the design phase right now, so that number will tighten up, but we're asking the county to consider participating half. And just a note, we pay about $25,000 in rent, so we're going to have immediate cost savings from this type of investment, and so that'll hit our budget directly next year, both the city and the county. The next project is a street infrastructure project, and just to kind of explain where we're at, when you're looking at that aerial, that dotted yellow line that you see, that is our city limits boundary. But this would be extending Mesa Drive from 16th Street to 24th Street. This area is outside the city limits. We've been working with the property owner on the right-of-way dedication, also on voluntary annexation into the city, and it's been a good cooperative conversation. The total estimated cost of this is $3.6 million, and this was a priority from our citizens back in that comprehensive planning piece. This area was identified as an area potentially most likely to grow. But we also know with the changes that we've seen in the frontage roads along the interstate, yes, we had the backage road with Kermit Street that came in, but we have kind of a bottleneck coming in there at Alton Road, and so this would be another relief route, so it improves safety and connectivity in this area, but it would also open this property up for growth and development. And that $3.6 million, the city is looking to put the water and sewer piece in. We're not asking, that is not included in that $3.6 million, but we're asking if the county would consider participating up to $500,000 for this one, really to cover the cost of tying 24th Street into the Mesa Drive extension. This would match what is out there today. If you're going down 24th Street, you see the 2 lanes. You would have curb and gutter on the north side, but you would still have that drainage ditch on the south side of the street. And that wouldn't be built out until you saw development on that south side of that road anyway. And so this would at least just get a good tie-in to the Mesa Drive extension itself. It's about 3/4 of a mile. And any questions on that one?
And then I can say, because that part of it out there is actually part of what I take care of. And me and Jeffrey, we've been talking about this for years. The frontage road congestion right there at the interstate and McDonald's and all that. And they built the road up through the parking lot at Tractor Supply. Everybody started going down 24th Street and coming down Andy Taylor Road. And it wasn't actually built for that. So me and Jeffrey would love to tie all this together, keep that road together, and alleviate some problems back down here on Highway 70 going to Westgate.
Yes.
Because we've had numerous wrecks. It's a wonder something really bad hasn't happened out there.
So y'all wanted to do it from where it ends all the way to the end
Yeah.
of the road?
No, this would actually just get it to the Mesa Drive. If you went the whole distance there, it's probably going to be about 1.5 to get from 24th Street over to where Andy Taylor's at. What we're focusing on is just the connectivity
Yeah.
to Mesa, which I think gives some relief that we're having, the trouble that we're having on Andy Taylor and 24th, which is just residential traffic trying to circulate in that area.
What I have in mind too, if we get it to this point, from that point, taking the asphalt zipper and zipping what's up there and putting caliche down like I've done on some of the dairy roads, and then putting 2 or 3 coats of chip seal on it to tie it all the way into 24th. And I think that will suffice out of our stuff over here.
The price of oil right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's high.
So you're talking about contributing, you, as far as, the manpower also?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's for, that's
Just that little
outside
part.
of this project that we're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
The 500,000,
Would just cover this
You don't
24th Street
No, I
paving
don't have one. You have one
extension.
too? I didn't think you did either.
I don't know if you'll look at that little red line,
Yes, sir? Oh, I
Okay.
see. I see what you're doing.
right there at the, there's pavement ends where that red line begins. And they're wanting $500,000 to pay from
How many copies do
where
I
that
have?
red line begins and ends. And then the other part of it, I'm thinking the county itself can chip seal and do that down to Andy Taylor Road
Gotcha.
out of our road and bridge fund.
And we might be able to take some of the material we've removed off 24th Street with our road project and kind of blend it to give us a little bit more flex in that pavement, and so, yeah, but this would
I
just,
mean, that's,
this extension here would be a part of a full road construction project that we bid, but 500,000.
Curb and gutter.
Curb and gutter.
yeah.
I'll give the judge my copy.
He has this
Oh, he
piece.
does?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been
I
talking.
have a question on the health department. You said y'all get state funds?
We get state and federal funding.
Okay. So as far as what we pay, what is that? Is there a break? I understand your invoices, I see the invoices, but I guess, does the county pay half of the expenses and rent for the building, or do we own the building? What's,
No, we lease that building.
lease it? Okay.
We've split the expenses both, kind of like we run the airport too. We just split the cost on it.
So what happens if the commissioner's court chooses to give the funds to the city? I mean, do we continue matching you half, or how does anything benefit us?
Well, the benefit is we're not paying $25,000 in rent that we're splitting annually. And so
So that would go away for us?
that would go away both on y'all's budget side and our side. So
Okay.
we'd see savings of around probably $15,000 a year in our operating budget apiece.
So at 250,000, you're saving 12 a month? Is that what you're saying for the
No,
county?
Annually,
Annually, yeah, annually 12.
12,000.
12,000.
So how many years would that take for us to recover that?
Well, we wouldn't be asking y'all if we didn't have the ARPA money. We probably wouldn't be having the opportunities. So since the ARPA money's come to the table, that's what's made it more palatable for all of us, because if not, we're all coming out of general revenue, which is
I understand we
not
have
the
funds,
exciting part
we
to
have things to
do.
do too. That's the only reason, I'm just asking the questions to kind of, bring some things that we need to do also.
Okay. Be happy to answer any other questions on it. We're kind of we're looking to try to make some decisions as far as finalizing our project list. We do have some other projects we're looking at. They're just park improvements. We've got some public safety improvements. We've got a brush truck we're getting ready to purchase as well. Similar, I know the county's got needs just like we do, and this is kind of an opportunity. We're trying to tackle some of those.
Those things on the agenda that Jason's got on here, we've got to do
I think
something
Jessica
with.
already spent all her money.
We've got to have a new heating and cooling unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need some more floor
And a
covers.
jail.
Yeah, the ARP, the thing.
No, we don't, we can't, that's what I'm saying, just take the jail.
Is that
regardless.
3.6 million count buying the land and running Mesa Drive?
The landowners are cooperative to dedicate the property as a part of the project.
They're gonna give it to you?
Yeah, that's something that we've been working with them for really the past 4 to 5 years, because we knew it was a priority, and so we wanted to gear up that if, say you got grant funding, or like what's happened now, where ARPA allocations, it's created an opportunity for us to actually do the project.
So 3.6 is just to run the Mesa Drive?
It gets Mesa Drive and 24th, that includes that 24th
Oh,
Street
does it?
in there. I'm just asking for up to the 500,000 that would
Oh, okay.
cover the 24th Street portion of it.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I was just gonna say, we do have a committee for the ARPA money, so I think really the committee would like to meet, and I know Jess and I have discussed it as in regards to the ARPA money that we need to, and the members, there's at least 3 of us here right now? 4?
Carla.
Carla's here too. So there's 4 of us, and I think the committee should at least talk about it and then take it before the board.
Yeah, we have to.
I'm good, I'm just, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank y'all.
you.
Thank you.
All right, now that Jeffrey's done, we have come into the things on the work session for Friday. We will turn our attention to what's on the agenda for Monday, March 14th. First one, well, we have the approved minutes for the regular meetings. We'll take care of that on Monday. Next on the list, we have the auditor.
Okay. I'm just gonna summarize these 3 things real quick. When we, at the last court, Carla presented the CTSI, group that came to speak to y'all about the, firewall and, oh gosh, where's my stuff? Hold on. Sorry. The firewall, and then also the, cyber defense, the CTSI Net Watch It with Cyber Defense Service, which muchly needed, and the court decided to move forward with that project based on the dollar amounts that were presented to us at that time. What we weren't aware of is that, or I don't believe the court was aware, and neither were we, that there were gonna be additional actual agreements that we needed to sign, that the court needed to approve and allow the county judge to sign. So I've put those things back on the agenda, because they did provide a master service agreement as well as, the, it here, with the Cyber Defense Service, a statement of work that is part of the master service agreement, but it was a separate service agreement. So, and then with the Fortinet firewall project, an updated quote, I was visiting with Carla a little bit while ago, and I think the only thing that changed is that something was added, of another
JP3.
department, JP3 was added because they were left off initially. And we're not thinking that the price changed at all, but I'm gonna double check that for Monday. So if it did, then that, it can be presented at that time and y'all approve and move forward. So nothing, other than, and the judge did go ahead and sign those agreements, so we need to ratify those agreements. So that's all that is.
Treasurer, the Monday item, everything?
I'm good.
Just so you know, county judge, we've already gone over the Edmondson Fire Department run and the Petersburg EMS. We will readdress those on Monday. Next on the list is the sheriff's office, and they are not here, but they're looking to discuss and approve a new rooftop unit over control room 1, for air conditioning and heating and all that. We talked to the new Andy Hart over here. Talked to City Manager Snyder about the Hale County Health Department and relocation in the Mesa Drive project. And now we are up to Commissioner Precinct 2 to discuss and approve buyback and trade of a new motor grader.
Yeah, it's just that time again. New motor grader cost is $278,500. Buyback is $140,000, and so total purchase price will be $138,500.
Okay. All right. Next up on the agenda is Emergency Management Coordinator Jesse Mendoza.
Can I touch on that for just a minute?
Huh?
Can I touch on that for just a minute?
Yes.
That's for my, and we've been talking about this, but I was gonna say, and I hit it right on the nail, we've got those projects going on, and I wanted to see it run through the committee first, and then make recommendations to them, but there's so many factors that come into play on the generators, for example, is diesel is one option, propane's another option, a little bit more expensive, but in the long run, you end up saving lots of money. So I wanted to talk with the committee, or all of us discuss it, which way to go before we make a recommendation. And on that HVAC that I mentioned on there, it's we have a meeting with the engineers, Commissioner King and I do this Wednesday, Thursday, 17th.
17th.
I think it's Wednesday. Engineer come down here and give us a much better idea of what we're facing, and he'll bring his engineer team so that we can report to the committee, to report to the commissioners which direction we need to be going with it. And I've got 2 other companies that have talked to us, and once we have at least 3 or 4 or 5, or Jim will be giving us all the legal guidance.
Okay. We're gonna do this.
Okay.
Visit after
So,
this.
but I just want to give you that quick update on it.
All right, that looks like it concludes everything for Monday's agenda. I will call this work session to a close on Friday, March the 11th, 2022 at 9:53 a.m.